Hi John, you can tell us how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Hiya.
Good to go in your caps.
Joe, how are the players feeling after Monday's game? How's the reaction in their training?
Yeah, it's been good. As you can imagine, we was a little bit down the other day because the result didn't quite go our way, which we wanted to. So it didn't take as much, bringing back to the positive side as what I thought it might. They're a pretty good group. They're very responsive. They know there's still a good few games to go, and we've got to make sure we're concentrating for those games. And weirder things have happened in football.
Is that your message then to the girls on the training ground? Weirder things have happened. We take care of our games. We've still got a chance.
Yeah, like you see it. You see the crazy end to the season last season, where it came down to the last game, and probably what everyone expected to be the least outcome in the end actually ended up happening. I think it's important that we stay focused. It's important that we still work on things that we needed to put right from the game on Monday. And we put them into practice, and we get the energy high, we get everybody's confidence back going again. That's my job, that's what we've got to do. It's important that we do that as staff as well, keep the morale high, and as I say, it doesn't take much to do that with this group. We've had a good week's training, and we're looking good going into the weekend.
So the belief is still there that you can become champions?
Absolutely, yeah. I think we've got to make sure that we're doing everything in our own hands to make it as hard as possible. For Celtic if they're going to lift the trophy, we've got to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do to still be in a position to do that.
I think you said, Joe, that the pressure was now on Celtic. Why did you arrive at that conclusion? Because
they're the ones in front. That the goal difference is quite a way, because it ultimately acts like an extra point. We got to make sure that if they win all their games, they win the league. So that's not the case with us. We've got to make sure that we're doing our business. They're the ones that have got to make sure that they don't slip up, as do we. I don't think it's any different. And I think that's the same year in, year out. You see it, you can't afford to slip up too many times. So, I think the emphasis is on them to keep doing what they're doing, but we've got to make sure that we're doing what we're doing as well.
Sure, have you looked at the fixtures to see whether there might be any kind of possible slip-ups, or are you just fully focused on, for both Rangers and...
No, it's just fully focused on ourselves. I couldn't tell you their last 3 games. So, we've got to make sure that we're fully focused on what we're doing, concentrating on our job in hand, making sure we're getting maximum points out of these games available, and working towards the end of the season, really, and full focus on this week.
I guess with the cup final places up for grabs and the Champions League spot as well, there is still plenty to play for. It. Is that what your kind of emphasis on the players as well, irrespective of what happens with the title? Yeah,
absolutely, because the Champions League spot is big because we missed out on it last year. We need to make sure that is there, and we do make those final 2 spots because it's so difficult, and it's difficult to get back into them. So we need to make sure that we're securing that, but as ever we want to make sure that we're trying to win this league and trying to win this title, and to do that we've got to make sure we're going to each game with that mentality to win them.
Joe, you mentioned pressure. Celtic have never really been in this position before, at the top of the league and closing in the title where it's entirely in their own hands. Is that what you mean when you talk about how you handle that when people are chasing? Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know what their camp's like and how they go about things week in, week out. I'm sure that they're having very similar conversations, but we can only handle things how we handle things. We'll soon see what happens at the end of next week, because it's a very short time now before it comes to there. But as I say, we've got to make sure that we're doing what we're doing. We're not focusing on Celtic, we're concentrating on ourselves. We've just got to make sure that we're there and thereabouts. How important are the players for you that have been there and been over the course before and know what it's like to go and win a title?
Yeah, it's huge. But every single player in this squad's been big for us. I think you see this season, it's been a lot of the youth players that have stepped up in big games and big moments for us that have got us over the line. Our experience has got us there, but you see me and Macaulay stepping up and getting big goals in big games for us. So I think the whole squad's going to be massive. We've got to make sure we're using it and using it wisely. We've had a couple of niggles over the last couple of weeks. You see at the start of the Celtic game with Rachel and Kathy, we couldn't name them from the start because they got a couple of niggles 2 days before, which throws you a little bit. And that's the whole point of a squad. You see Ailey Austin coming in and doing extremely well. So, you know, those experiences are massive for her and for the group. And we've got to make sure we're drawing on all of our players to try and get us through to the end of the season.
Last couple.
Glasgow City to have a point to prove on Sunday.
Absolutely. Every single time I say we play each other that many times that they're not going to want to feel the way that they felt the last time that they played us. You know, I think that we dominated that game and showed what we can do and what we're capable of, and we scored some excellent goals. Each time you play these top teams that you're expecting a response from it, we've got to expect that. We've got to expect that they don't give the same level of performance as what they gave last time, and we've got to make sure that we're stepping up to our game and producing just as good, if not better.
Stevie?
Joe, can I just ask quickly on the squad about Kathy and Rachel, will they be available?
Yeah, they will be available. We need to assess them a little bit as to how much they can play. And obviously playing a 3-game week, that looks very different because that again affects the next game with how much they do play or don't play. So, you know, we've got to manage the squad effectively and manage them properly for the next 3 games as well as a cup final.
Mark?
You said that the pressure was off slightly on yourself. Will that allow you in the squad just to have a wee bit of, just to go and attack, just to have some fun with it, kind of, to use a better phrase, but the pressure's off a wee bit so you can maybe get back to the way you were earlier in the season where you did play free-flowing football and just go and really take your foot off the gas and go for it?
Yeah, potentially. I think you see in the last game that it looked a little bit cagey, didn't it? You know, I didn't really want to make a mistake, and it's something that we've spoken about. You know, to score a goal, you've got to take that risk. You've got to be the player that's going to, you know, have a real good go. Am I going to play that killer pass? Am I going to be the one to put the ball in the back of the net? And they've got the licence to do it. It's just, you know, who's going to do that? Who's going to step up? And I've said to him, you know, we've got enough potential and enough quality in this squad in forward areas, not just in striker areas, but in the peripheries around that, in wide areas, in attacking midfield roles as well, that, you know, you see Chelsea stepping up with big goals in big games lately. So we do share the goals around. We just, you know, we need to make sure that shackles come off a little bit. You know, they've got full licence for me to go and have a real good go, you know, because as I've said, we've got to win games, we've got to score some goals, so that's what we're looking to do.
Last one, Mark.
You played at Reading with Rachel Rowe.
Yep.
Are you surprised at the impact she's had?
Nope. You know, I actually still don't think we've seen the best of Rachel. You know, she's had a few niggles all season. I promised Rachel when we came up we'd look after her because, you know, she's been played on the back of injury after injury for quite some years now. And you know, she's a player that does need looking after. She does turn up in big moments, but you know, it's a player that I think we're still going to see a lot more of. She's got a lot more to bring, and I think if you ask Rachel, she'd say that herself. I've seen moments from her which, you know, you don't see from many other players. She's got that spark. She's got that little bit of extra edge about her. And I think, you know, when we see a Rachel really fit, you'll see another level to her.
In terms of the game this weekend, you mentioned yourself that games at the top, between the top 3, have been quite cagey.
Yeah.
Now obviously you've still got the championship to win, but you've also got that European spot. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, you certainly don't want to be giving City any hunts.
Absolutely not, and that's something that we speak about. You know, we need to make sure that we get a foothold in the game and we can take control of the game early, and that's exactly what we did in the last game. You know, I thought we dominated throughout the most of the previous fixture, but again, it looks very different. You're expecting a reaction from City. They've got a Champions League spot to go after, and you fully expect them to go after that. They're a very experienced team. You know, what they've done in this league throughout the years is outstanding. They've really set the bar high. So, you know, they're not going to be happy to sit in third. So we'll be expecting them to come out with a performance and try and keep that gap a lot closer.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.